Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. In this video we're going to be taking a first look at S Class Lilly. She is another Telltale character coming to the game, and she is going to be coming to the game in the upcoming House of Cards event. Now, Telltale Lilly is a character that I kind of requested myself personally because I think the Delta characters that were added before kind of did miss somebody, and it was their leader, as she was the leader of the Delta group that was in season 4 of Telltale's The Walking Dead. And I also do think she was a very important character historically in Telltale's The Walking Dead, so having her as an S-Class character was definitely something I wanted to see. At the very last Walker Stalker Con in London, which was in 2019, I did manage to meet the voice actress of Lilly, and that was Nikki Rapp, and she was a really lovely person to meet, and it was a big, stark contrast of the character she was voicing, because Lilly, well, we all know what Lilly was like. But we'll break down the character as she stands visually. As you can see, she has got a bit of a different look as what we kind of do recognize for Lilly in Telltale's The Walking Dead. This is her maxed out on the right hand side. You can see she's got like this beret on, she's got the sunglasses. The rest of the get up kind of does look like season 4, but this, basically the hat and the glasses is massive overkill. But they want to just have some sort of like prestigious look for a lot of these characters, and that's the look they're going for with this Lilly. I don't mind it too much. I kind of think, Lilly would be the kind of character to try and pull that off anyway, but it is a little bit different than what we're used to when it comes to Lilly. But when you look at her avatar on the left hand side, this is the Lilly we know. The short hair from season 4, very iconic to what she looked like in that season as well. Now, we'll look at her stats. She's got maxed out vet rings with these stats. The layout's going to be a little bit different, so you're going to have to kind of get used to it because this is with the new update, and it is kind of cool that the first character I'm going to be reviewing is going to be a Telltale character in the new update. So we'll break it down. She has got 2,621 attack, 3,641 defense, and 5,974 HP. Like I said, this was with 30 veteran rings. She is a tough character, and she's actually considered a damage dealer with this very lopsided stat balance. Very low attack, very, very high HP. Now on the right hand side, you can see the layout of the rush, active, and leader skill has changed quite a bit. We'll check out her rush first, and it is called Fatalistic Maiming. That's definitely something you have to read twice. Recharge rate of 76 AP, deal 5,000 main damage to one enemy. That enemy gets 2,000 trauma and crosshairs for 2 turns. So 3 things going on here. Even though it's a single target rush, it is pretty slow. I would have preferred to see it be pretty quick. If it was 66 AP, I think would have been a better way to go, especially with a single target rush like this. The 5,000 main damage is a huge amount of damage. It also cannot be healed, which is kind of a big bonus, but it can be resisted. The enemy then gets 2,000 trauma. So if you do this rush against a defense team who has got a Pete on it, for instance, and you do not actually take them down with the 5,000 maim, and let's say they have 1,500 HP left, Pete's active actually will cleanse maim. However, because of the 2,000 trauma, that character will take 2,000 damage first, then have the maim cleansed, and then be healed by Pete's active. And obviously they will actually be taken down because of that, because trauma obviously inflicts damage based on the amount of status effects that are cleansed from a character. So if someone has got main damage on them, they also have bleed and let's say are impaired, and someone full cleanses that character where they remove every single negative status effect, that character will take 6,000 damage. It's huge amounts of trauma damage. And now that target also has crosshairs, so if they are taken out, they will be decapped as well. Now it's unclear whether the 5,000 main damage, if it actually straight up takes someone out, they will also be decapped. We'll have to wait and see, because I can actually just roll some gameplay in a second. However, regardless, it is only single target on the trauma and the crosshairs, and I would have liked to see maybe 2 characters getting trauma and crosshairs here, or maybe even 3. Because of the 76 AP cost, it's very, very one-dimensional and just a tad bit slow. So here we are attacking a team just to show you her rush, to see if it does actually decap when she does her rush and it actually straight up takes someone out. We see this character, Raulito, only has 3,715 HP left. We'll do her rush. It does take him out. However, it does not decap him because the crosshairs happens after the main damage does. So if the main damage does actually take a character out, they are not going to be decapped. However, if you do rush and don't take the character out, and they are left with minimal amounts of HP, they will be decapped by the follow-up damage. As you can see, we're going to have Priya take out Raulito, and he is going to be decapped because that crosshairs actually, you know, came to work, because that's the status effect that was on the character before they were taken down. Another thing to note with Lilly is she will not do any trait damage with her rush, even though you can see she's getting a trait bonus right now because of the up arrow next to her picture, the avatar in the bottom left hand corner. Her rush is main damage and there's no trait bonuses there, so it will always do flat damage. You didn't see any tough bonus coming up. Now the character does have trauma on it, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to defend to see what happens when Pete does his active skill. And it is actually quite surprising. I wasn't expecting what actually happens to happen. So you'll see Pete do his active skill, and it will cleanse the maim, and Raulito will take trauma damage, but he'll take it after he gets healed, so he doesn't actually get taken out by the trauma damage if it's only one thing cleansed. I assumed because of the order of how things happen. You can see in the bottom left hand corner here, Pete Anderson's active, all teammates recover from maim. I assume because that happened, then the instant that happened, it would be trauma damage, and then people would gain HP. But it seems that the maim and HP are actually kind of entwined into one. All teammates recover from maim and regain HP, then the trauma damage happens afterwards. Now, as we see that her rush is not super effective, it will decap someone if she doesn't take someone out. That is pretty much the best thing you can hope for. There are a lot of very tanky defense teams at the moment in terms of having characters really high HP, so she will be quite effective there. Now, one thing I will say about this character and her rush, she reminds me a lot of a character that came out once before, and that was in the season store, and that was 6-star Regina. When she was brought out, 6-star Regina was brought out as a character to help people on attack teams with a decap specialist skill, because that is what thing people requested. She was not very powerful on an attack team at all, but she was extremely strong on a defense team. And I think we're going to probably have the same situation with Lilly being actually pretty good on a defense team, because you can make her really defensive and she'll do 5,000 maim damage, which is probably going to take out almost any S class on an attack team, because most S classes don't buff their HP too much unless they're, you know, behind a HP leader, which there aren't too many offensive HP leaders. So I think just based on her rush, Lilly could be quite effective on a defense team. She could easily get 10,000 HP, easily get 8,000 defense. Very hard to take down. Now, when it comes to active skill, defense down, heal reduction, and AP gain, lots of stuff going on here. It has got an initial cooldown of 3, cooldown of 2, number of uses 5. Up to 2 enemies get minus 50% defense and 50% heal reduction for 2 turns. This character gains 35% AP. Now, the first part, she doesn't benefit from herself, but it is more of a setup for other characters. For instance, if you did that before you did a Priya rush, minus 50% defense, that character is getting destroyed. No matter who Priya rushes with minus 50% defense, is absolutely getting annihilated. The next part with the 50% heal reduction is just a kind of little bonus. I think 100% heal reduction isn't as important now as it once was, just because we have got crosshairs in the game, which is basically lending decap to a lot of rosters. Whereas before you relied so heavily on that specialist skill, 100% heal reduction was pretty much the only ideal heal reduction, because it did block revives after someone was taken down. But here it's just mainly going to minimize the amount of healing done by a defense team or an attack team. This character gains 35% AP isn't really going to do too much. This actually is not going to make much of a difference at all unless the character has been attacked a few times. On a defense team, she'll have like 69 or 70 AP. On an attack team, she'll have a little less as well. So she'll still need to do an extra attack to do her rush. Now, the problem is this is an initial cooldown of 3, the turn you would normally do your rush anyway. So mainly you're going to be teaming this up with other characters' natural rushes. But again, a lot of people do try and rush turn 2 with the Doc Stevens command combos. I would have preferred to see the initial cooldown of turn 2 here, so at least then you've got a choice of when to use it. On an attack team, that's very beneficial. On a defense team, not so much. You'd actually prefer it to be turn 3. So the main difference is you could control that with the level ups if you wanted to use this character on defense or attack. If you are mainly prioritizing this character to be used on an attack team, you can obviously just level up the active skill as much as you want. So here we're attack again, and it's just going to be Priya and Lilly this time. And as you can see, all we have to do is her active skill, and both characters get defense down and heal reduction. And potentially Priya will take both of these characters out just because she's going to do such high damage. She does crit. She is only on a basic Daze weapon here, and you'll see she'll take both characters out because of that. So a fairly decent support active for an attack team, but it doesn't help Lilly herself too much at all. And she will of course lose a turn when she does this. Now last but by no means least, Lilly does have a leader skill, and I think this is pretty much the thing that a lot of people are going to hone in on as being one of the most important things about Lilly's kit. It is an offensive leader skill. As you can see, the red dude holding the flag means it's an attacking leader skill, and we'll click it. All tough and fast teammates get 50% attack and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. This is actually pretty big because this is something that hasn't been in the game. At the S Class era, it's all 6-star leaders who have this, the likes of Carl, Harrison, and this is a lot of damage output. 50% attack, I didn't expect this, so this is great. And it does allow you to use fast and tough characters on the same team, the likes of Arav, Heng Yen, Priya, Princess, all in the same squad. Very, very powerful. But the biggest thing about this is direct trait counter to ranged defense teams, which is Pete leaders, Frost, Shivas, you know, anyone who's tough and alert on a defense team are going to be taking full trait damage but dealing none against this leader skill. And that's where the main benefit of Lilly is going to come in. There will be a bit of a jiggle. You might have to sacrifice certain characters. You may even have to sacrifice someone like Dr. Stevens to get the full benefit of this, and that may actually reduce the potential speed of your attack teams, but it should increase the rate at which you're going to be winning. Like the percentage win rate versus speed, you've got to decide which one's more important. If you're punching up against harder teams, I do think Lilly will probably be a better leader if you have got good fast and tough characters to use in combination with each other. But overall, I think Lilly's mainly going to be a good character for people who are currently struggling on Pete defense teams, or who have limited rosters, or who are new to the game. If you are someone who's been playing for a while, you probably have a good team to take out Pete teams already. The likes of Priya Lead and Princess working together. You can even use off-trait characters that are fast and still do huge amounts of damage. I've used Heng Yen and Arav off-trait with a Priya leader, and they're still massively effective. And because I use Doc Stevens in a command as well, who can I really sacrifice in that situation to make Lilly my leader? Do I remove my command and then don't have any first turn control? Do I remove my fast character? Well, what's the point of even having Lilly as a leader in the first place if I do that? I cannot remove Princess, and Priya is my massive damage dealer. So for me, as someone who's got a built up roster, it's going to be quite hard to actually decide who would I sacrifice in that situation. And most likely it wouldn't be anybody. However, I do think she's going to become quite a niche pick on defense teams. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw on her Pete defense teams, or if you see on Angel defense teams or Aaron defense teams, because that 5,000 damage is going to be pretty nice. And the fact that you can boost her defense and HP so massively because she doesn't need any attack stat at all, she could become quite a dangerous character on a defense team. And if you have Aaron and Dr. Stevens, the S-Class characters already, you've got a nice beginnings of quite a nice offensive team to be used on a defense team that can be built massively defensively. So the trio combo there could be actually quite effective. But that is Lilly, guys. Do tell me what you think about her as an S-Class character. She is the character that's coming into the next event, House of Cards. More information on that to come as and when I get it. I will most likely do a guide on Lilly in the coming days, as I do think she's going to be a character that's going to be in a lot of people's rosters. Do leave me your thoughts though in the comments. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.